guys, it's Mrs. Conway. So for this task, what I want you to do is hopefully you were in class today and you actually attempted this task with a group. But if you didn't, I want you to right now pause this video and try to answer the questions for task 3 on your own. You can use a calculator, but I would actually kind of prefer you didn't, because I will read it to you really quick and then I guess you can go try it. It says, as Felicia gets on the freeway to drive to her cousin's house, she notices that she is a little low on gas. There's a gas station at the exit she normally takes, and she wonders if she will have to get gas before then. She normally sets her cruise control at the speed limit of 70 miles per hour, and the freeway portion of the drive takes about an hour and 15 minutes. Her car gets about 30 miles to the gallon on the freeway, and gas costs $3.50 per gallon. So, if you think about this situation, it doesn't make sense to use a calculator because she's driving, and you can't use a calculator while you're driving, not safely. So, I'm going to encourage you to not use a calculator if you can. Ideally, you're doing this in your head, but maybe jot down what you did just to explain it. So, once you're done with this, come back to the video, hit play, and I'm going to show you my thoughts on this. There is more than one right way to do this problem. I just am going to walk you through my way, so that way if you can't think of any ways, at least you've seen a way. And then I want you to write down either your way or my way or both to help you make sense of this problem. And then after you've watched the video, there's some reflection questions at the end that I want you to address. So go ahead and attempt this problem on your own if you haven't yet, and then come back and I'm going to show you how to do this. All right, so hopefully now you've at least tried this problem on your own. So, part A says, describe an estimate that Felicia might do in her head while driving to decide how many gallons of gas she needs to make it to the gas station at the other end. So right now, what we're doing is we're looking at how many gallons of gas she needs. So let's first look at what we know. So we know that she's going 70 miles per hour. We know that she is going to be driving for an hour and 15 minutes. We know she gets 30 miles per gallon on the freeway, and that gas is $3.50 per gallon. This is asking how many gallons. So for this part of the problem, we probably don't need the $3.50 per gallon. But we do need to know that she's going 70 miles per hour. That's her speed. And we need to know that she it's going to take her an hour and 15 minutes. And we probably need to know her fuel mileage. So if the question is, how many gallons of gas does she need? We first need to know, I actually kind of work this background. How many gallons does she need? Okay, she gets 30 miles per gallon. Okay, well then I need to know how many miles she's traveled. Well, it doesn't give me that information. It gives me her speed and her time. Well, okay, I know that if I'm traveling 70 miles per hour, after 1 hour, I'll have gone 70 miles, right? So at 70 miles per hour, after 1 hour, we should be at 70 miles. That doesn't really even take any math. I mean, technically we're doing 70 times 1, right? But that's just common sense. Okay, well, the 15 minutes though. We need the 15 minutes. Well, 15 minutes is like quarter of an hour. 15 goes into 60. Yeah, so 15 minutes is like a quarter of an hour. The quarter after would be 15 minutes, right? So if we're talking about 70 miles per hour, then we need like a quarter of 70. Well, a quarter of 60 would be easy. That'd be 15, right? So it would be approximately 15 miles, but we know it's more than that. So I'm going to say more than 15 miles. Okay, so that'll get us close. So we add those together, and now we know she's gone like 85 miles, but we know it's more than that. It's greater than 85 miles, right? Okay, well, she gets 30 miles to the gallon, which means if she's going 85 miles, I'm going to need to divide 85 and 30, right? Because I need to know how many, like, if we have 85 miles, I need to know how many 30s go into that so I know how many gallons it is. So what if I round up to 90? Because it's divisible by 30. So then I can do it in my head, right? Because I'm driving a car. I can't take the time to do long division. So, well, 90 is divisible by 30, so 30 miles to the gallon, that means that 90 divided by 30 would be 3 gallons of fuel. And that's probably just a little bit of an overestimate, right? Because we rounded up to 90. But it's close enough for the purposes of this problem. So she's used, and if you're above, you got to think about it this way too. You don't want to round down in this situation because she's talking about having enough fuel to get somewhere. You don't want to like think you don't need as much as you do. Thinking you need too much is fine because then you'll just take the safe route and get more fuel. So if she's rounding up to 3 gallons, that'll help her make a good decision about whether to stop and get fuel. Okay, so now it says, assuming she makes it, how much does Felicia spend per mile on the freeway? What's interesting here is that it says per mile. So we don't actually need all this math we just did. Now you could say she uses 3 gallons of fuel total, and we know how many miles that is and divide it out. But actually, we already know, if we go back up here, we know her fuel mileage and we know how much fuel costs. Fuel is $3.50 per gallon. Okay, and then we know that she gets 30 miles to the gallon. So we know, if we know that, then we can figure out how much she spends per mile on the freeway. We just have to look and say, okay, well, $3.50 per gallon. She's getting 30 miles per gallon. We just needed to get rid of the gallons, right? So if it's $3.50 per gallon and she gets 30 miles for each gallon, then that means that the amount she spends for each gallon would be 3.50 divided by 30, right? Because there's 30 miles in each gallon and $3.50 for each gallon. So we just want to know dollars per mile, right? Dollars. Okay, so, well, I can't just do that in my head, but what I could do in my head is, well, I could, first of all, get rid of the decimal, right? So in my mind, what I would do with this, to do this problem in my head, is I'd be like, okay, $3.50. Well, I could think of that as 35 over 300. Well, okay, but 35 still doesn't work well with 300. And also, that's not money. I want money. So I should probably try to get this 300 to be a 100. So I'm going to actually divide both the top and the bottom by 3, so I'm over 100. Once I do that, I'll have cents, right? Whatever my numerator is will be cents. So if I'm thinking of 35 divided by 3, well, 35 doesn't divide 3, but 36 does. That's 9. And that, so my upper estimate would be 9. Divided by 4 is 9. 36 divided by 3 is 12. Sorry, guys. Sorry. My upper estimate would be 12. My lower estimate would be, well, 34 doesn't divide either 3 either, but 33 divided by 3 would be 11. So my upper estimate is 12. My lower estimate's 11. I'm going to be closer to 12 than 11, right? So we could call it 11.7 and be close. Honestly, probably calling it 12 cents would be perfectly fine because it's a little bit of an overestimate, but 12 cents, we don't need to probably get more precise than that. So there you go. My estimate then would be 12, so $0.12 per, and again, it's an estimate, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And then if it makes you feel better, just the precise answers here, I know some people like to know that, when you do this problem, you'll get a precise answer of 0.121. Actually, so I wasn't over. I was still just a little bit under. And if you, for the other one, 3 gallons is not quite enough. All right, so go ahead and reflect on what we just did here. Did you get different answers? What did you do differently? Do you think you did it better? If you did, then I want to hear it, because there's more than one way to look at this problem. All right, good luck.